Yes, my people, then welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. I got a new camera. Well, I ain't got a new camera. I'm using my brother's camera, and I just not a fan of it. I think it's making me look really ugly, right? So just please don't take this into like I need to get a new setup, right? I'm using my mum's light thing, right? So the lighting isn't the best, but I've got a new light thing. It's coming on its way. You know what I mean? So this is just a little heads up. I'm not actually this butters in real life, I don't think, anyway. Or maybe this camera's just showing my true like essence. Guys, I just want to tell you also, I appreciate all the views, the likes, the subscribes, guys. I'm actually so happy with like how my last video done. I've got like 4K views in like 2 days, and I think it's pretty sick, to be fair. Like I only expected myself to get like a couple hundred views like the first couple of videos, so I'm actually proper pleased with myself, and I'm grateful to all you lot that are liking and subscribing. Like I actually see you lot, and I appreciate it so much. But yeah, guys, this video is about Thailand, right? My DMs get flooded. People are asking me all the time about Thailand, like what to expect, all of this stuff, different routes to go down. And I thought, you know what? I'm not no travel agent. Do you know what I mean? You lot are asking me to plan you lot's whole holiday, your whole travel thing. And it's not like that. Like, I'm actually not doing it. I've had the conversation way too many times. But I thought, you know what? Let me just jump on YouTube and make a video about the things that I wish I knew before I went traveling in Thailand. Now listen, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I done my research before going out, yeah. TikTok, YouTube, searched everything up on Google. I've done the whole shebang. I've looked at the map, where everything is, how long it takes to get to. I've done it all. But some things people don't talk about, or you know, some people give misinformation, right? Like the main one for me was, I spoke about this in my TikTok, right? So I ain't gonna really talk about it too much here. But was the smart clothes, yeah? People on TikTok were talking about, oh, you shouldn't bring smart clothes, you should only bring comfy clothes like Under Armour, this, that, da, da, da. And it's cap. Bring nice clothes, bring nice sets, bring nice shoes. Like, obviously, they ain't gonna bring your whole nicest wardrobe. Like, you are gonna be doing a lot of running up and down. But, like, bring nice clothes for restaurants and stuff. Like, I was going restaurants, yeah, nice restaurants or nice places, and I'm wearing some Under Armour shirt. Which is another reason why I didn't actually have that much pictures on my Instagram, because, like, mate, I didn't have that much nice clothes, like, you know what I mean? So it was just a little bit dead. Spoke about that on my TikTok, so I ain't gonna get into that too much, right? But the main thing, right, which I've been telling and I've been warning people, because this is where your money's gonna go, is your accommodation. Listen, guys, I actually started booking my accommodation in November. I flew out in December, and I'm pretty sure I started booking either in October, late October, November time. Guys, you lot should be booking from July. Yeah, if you're gonna go out in January times, you lot should be booking from July. January is peak season, guys. Yeah, so you got people that are going Circa Loca, you got people that are doing EDC, you got people that are just there in general, just holidaying, traveling and stuff. January is peak season, yeah, it is expensive. If you don't have stuff pre-booked, you're gonna be paying crazy prices, and like, they're gonna be dead places, they're gonna be dead accommodation. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be making sure that you pre-book stuff. On TikTok, they're saying, oh, you should wing it because you might meet good people out there, and then you might want to stay in a place longer. And that's true, yeah? That's true. You might want to stay in a place longer. You might really like a place, yeah? But that is why you got to do your research on the places that you're going to. Because both things are true. You want to get cheap accommodation by pre-booking and that, and like making sure you have a nice accommodation. You also kind of want to have the flexibility, so you got to actually choose. But you want to go down the cheaper option, don't you? Everyone was telling me just wing it, yeah? Go there, have a accommodation for 3 days. I booked accommodation for about 2 weeks. I kind of knew what I was doing. I kind of knew what route I wanted to go down. Obviously, I landed in Phuket, right? I stayed in Phuket for about, I think it was 3 days. Made my way down to Koh Samui because it was a full moon party in Koh Phangan. I just took a boat down to Koh Phangan from Koh Samui. Stayed in Koh Samui for a bit, and I went to Koh Phangan, and I went from Koh Phangan back to Phuket because obviously it was Circa going on. I went to Cafe Del Mar, I did a few other little events, Circa, and then I did PP, back to Phuket. So it's just like back to Phuket like a million times. That's one thing I kind of not wish I didn't do, but Phuket, like, you don't need to go for that long, you know what I mean? You can go 4 days in Phuket and kind of do most of the things that you want to do you know what I mean? And after the second Circo Loco, I literally had no accommodation, guys. Must have been after the second Circo, right? So because I went to the afters, the Circo was on the Saturday, and I was at the afters all night on the Sunday, and then I must have slept in all the way to the Monday, and I was like, my accommodation runs out on Tuesday, and I was like, shoot, let me see where I can like book my next accommodation. The whole of Phuket, the whole accommodation it was all gone. Do you know what I mean? There was literally only places that was expensive, like 10,000 baht, which was, I don't even know how much 10,000 baht is. I think it's like £200, I'm pretty sure. £200, something along the lines, yeah, for like mid hotels. Yeah, I wasn't paying £250 for like 2 days at a hotel. That is insane. The hostel prices were crazy, so I was like, you know what? Let me fly up to Chiang Mai, right? So because I was staying near the airport, I flew to Chiang Mai. I was in Chiang Mai for a few days. It wasn't really my cup of tea. I think that was one because it was after a very heavy weekend, yeah, so I was just mashed up, and it was a complete different vibe. Like Chiang Mai, like the north to the compared to the south is completely different, like completely different vibe. And I think it was just adjusting to that, adjusting to a different type of people. Obviously I was with a lot of people that were like similar type of people that I'd hang out with at home, do you know what I mean, because everyone was coming from Circle and that. And then it was like to Chiang Mai where it was just so different. Luckily I did meet some good people out there, and like two of my pals, they also came out, and I saw them there and I was chilling them for a few days. That was nice. And then I made my way down to Pai, right? Pai is a place you lot gotta go. This is another thing about backpacking Thailand, right? Make sure you do the north, right? Even if it's just for a week, go up north. Like Chiang Mai, yeah, it's alright, and I just feel like I didn't explore it enough because I was so mashed up from, you know, heavy partying and that. But definitely do Pai. Yeah, do Pai for a few days. I'd say even do 4 days. I was there in Pai for 3 days and I wish I stayed longer. And it's not like, oh, there was so much to do, but it was just the aura. It was so relaxing, bro. That environment was just sick. The atmosphere was just, it was 10/10, bro. It was like, it was just a nice place just to chill. The only thing is it gets so cold at night, and they don't tell you this, yeah? Bring some like jumpers and that. If you are going to go to the north, bring a jumper, bring a tracksuit, otherwise you're just going to have to buy one there anyway, you know what I mean? Now listen guys, obviously I went out to Thailand on my own, right? So I was backpacking on my ones, I took the flight on my own. I met people out there and stuff, and I made friends out there, cool. But I thought there would be a lot more solo travelers, and there's not a lot, right? I think I met about 2 or 3 solo travelers, right, my whole time in Thailand. I might have met like other solo travelers, like, you know, like if like just in passing conversation kind of thing, but like as in actual ones that I wanted to be friends with, it was about 2 or 3. There was not much people solo traveling, so I think that's one thing that you got to mentally prepare yourself, because I think a lot of people, if you go out there solo, right, you think, oh, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to meet all these other people who are solo traveling, we're going to go the same way, this, that, and the other, and like, it's a whole make-believe in your head. And then when you get there, it's a whole different story. One, because things are so expensive, you have to pre-book. Two, everyone goes different ways. You can meet someone, right, and you might hit it off. These people, you might think that could be a best friend for life, bro. Like, I've met some people, I'm like, oh my God, like, these people are sick. And then they go in a whole different way. You know what I mean? Might be going up north, and they're even going back home even. Do you know what I mean? Or they're going to Vietnam or Cambodia. Like, that was the one, it was always like they're going to a different country. Like, when you're traveling, right, you make all these friends, but sometimes you only make them for a few days and then they're gone, and then you have to make a new friend. So it's like a constant, like, you know what I mean? And that was the one thing that I got kind of tired of, right, was the same conversation. Guys, I was having the same conversation all the time. Oh, yo, where you from? From here. Girl, how long you been traveling for? What you doing? What you work for? Like, it is the same old conversations. And trust me, once you get there, and after a few weeks, you will clock that and you will remember this video. You remember, oh shit, I remember Addy said that. It does get a bit tiring, but you know what? I miss it. I miss it. I miss it so much. I think one thing about backpacking Thailand, right, I didn't actually mentally prepare myself for, was the hostels. Now obviously I knew about the hostels, I've heard the horror stories, I heard it all, but you can't feel it until you're there. Do you know what I mean? I can tell you about a whole heap of things that happen, and you're not gonna feel it until you're there, until it's you that's living in it. You know what I mean? Like, I've got so many videos of me, like, just of things happening in the background at like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. People coming in loud, people vomiting. Do you know what I mean? I had a bed that was right next to the toilet, yeah? And people were coming in and they were vomiting. And as in, my bed is literally, my pillow is here, and I can just hear vomit literally basically right next to my pillow. Do you know what I mean? It was butters. And this is the type of thing that happens, and you got to get used to it. There's people coming in, they're putting the AC on. Oh my God, guys, this would be the worst thing, yeah? In Pai, right, obviously I told you at nighttime it's cold. I had the thinnest blanket ever, right? The thinnest blanket ever. And these people put the AC on top of that. And I'd be there freezing my ass off. Freezing. It's Baltic, bro. Like, it's cold outside. The whole hostel's cold. And you got the AC on. Like, mate, it was just stuff like that is what's gonna trigger you some days. Like, some days it's gonna piss you off. Some days you're gonna be like, you know what I mean? But obviously, you can just get a hotel. For me, that's what I did. I get a hotel, I get an apartment. I wasn't always staying in hostels. Like, some of the apartments and the hotels I was staying in were actually nice, but you can't hostel it up. Like, for me anyway, I can't hostel it up the whole trip. I've got to stay in a hostel maybe for a few days, then stay in a hotel for about 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what you got to do. You got to balance it out, level it out. Hostel, right? It was in Phuket, right? And this was the annoying thing. I booked a hotel because I was like, I didn't want to land and be like straight into a hostel, but I had to go straight into a hostel. Can you imagine? Because something happened with the hotel. It was just like a whole big drama. I'm not even gonna get into that. I've gone into the hostel now, and it's all old, like old men. Yeah, and I think they all knew each other. It weren't like old, but they were like in their 30s, right? So it's like some old Asian men, right? And do you know what? They were alright. Like, they kept themselves to themselves, but it was a shock. It was a shock to me because I thought I'd go in there, right, and there's gonna be bare British people, and I'm gonna just make all these friends, and it's gonna be so sick. And I've gone into my first hostel, and they're all old. They're not from my area. They can't speak English. They were not from my country, really. They can't speak English, and I was like, this is a culture shock. Like, is this how it's gonna be? Do you know what I mean? Luckily, I had a friend in the area that I already knew, and I linked up with him and that, and I, you know, like, it was calm. Actually, I knew 2 people actually, so you know, I mean, it kind of brought that familiarity back to me, and made me feel a bit more like, you know, but that was the shock. You just got to make sure you pick good hostels. Like, there's some dead hostels out there, you know what I mean, that will just have anybody in it. You got to find like good hostels and read the reviews. 2 worst moments that I remember about hostels, and this one will always stick with me, and I'm sure it will stick with this girl as well. Cool, this day, yeah, I must have been kind of sick, right? So I wasn't like sick, but I was sick. I didn't want to go out party. I didn't want to do anything. I just kind of wanted to just chill, and just chill my room. So that's what I was doing. I was literally just scrolling on TikTok, chilling. Everyone in my room has gone. By the way, this is like a party hostel, innit? So this was in Pai. It's a party hostel, and obviously I need to use the toilet. Yeah, this was number 2, TMI, I know, but I needed to use the toilet. I did not like using the toilet when other people were in that hostel. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine, like, especially when sometimes the toilet is connected to the room, and like, the buildings are so cheap, right? Like, you can literally hear everything that's going on. Luckily, everyone was out, yeah? So everyone's out partying, they're doing drinks in the hostel and whatever, so I can just go to the toilet. I've gone to the toilet now, yeah? And I've heard people coming into the hostel room. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm making noise, right, just so they can hear me. So I'm like putting my phone on and that, so people know that there's someone in the bathroom. By the way, the light is on as well. Now, bear in mind, there is no lock on the door. There's no lock, but you can see that the light is on, right? And you're in a hostel, you're in a shared like bath, like shared space. You should knock. The door is closed. Anyway, so I thought I was safe, right? I've come, wiping my ass. This girl busts down the door. Not even like a little... She busts down, open up the door like that, yeah? And I'm there mid-wipe. By the way, the toilet is facing this way. The door is there. So I'm mid-wipe. And she's there. And I'm looking at her and she can see everything. Everything is out. All the jewelry is just out, yeah? Out for her to see. And I'm just there like this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and she's just there staring at me. And she's like, shocked. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I just bang, close the door. And I'm like, what the hell? I was in shock, yeah, and I thought like that was crazy. You know what? I think at that time, because I was traveling, I think for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks at that point, I was used to it. You know, I wasn't like used to it, but I was like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, I'm not gonna see the girl again. She was like Canadian or American or something like that. I'm not gonna see her again. It is what it is. I mean, like, I will see her obviously when I get back into the room and that, but I ain't gonna see her. You gotta prepare yourself for moments like that. You know, I've had moments where people are shagging in the hostels, yeah, like, that is what they're doing, loud as well. You can hear everything, and I just feel like it's disrespectful. I don't know. Everyone goes about, oh, like, we've all done it once. I've never done that. Like, I wouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? I just feel like, have some class. You know what I mean? You can book a hotel if you really want to get with someone. Book a hotel. You know, go for the night and actually do. Why are you gonna do it with a whole audience to watch you? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make no sense to me, bro. It's about mentally preparing yourself for that, because if you ain't mentally prepared for it and you go in there thinking, oh, it's all gonna just be like some Camp Rock American kind of show where everyone's just all getting along in the hostels and that, far from it. You know what I mean? Because I've heard some horror stories of people fighting and stuff in hostels, and mate, it's not easy, because there's some people I couldn't stand, that I was like, you know what I mean, sharing with. You know, some people just get on your nerves. I think there was only like one or two hostels where I made friends with, like the people that I was staying in, like staying in the actual room. Obviously, maybe I made some friends that were staying at my hostel, but in the actual room, I think maybe like two hostels. I made most of my friends out partying, doing whatever, doing my own thing. Do you know what I mean? And then when I come back to the hostel, because you can't choose obviously who's you're gonna share a room with and stuff. You just put with these random people. Like a lot of the time, you just, you know what I mean, you might not get along, which is fair. You know what I mean? But it's calm. Now, last but not least, right, is be safe. Now, we will go out there and we have a sick time and we get lost in the moment. We think we're all in like a TV show and anything is just like can go and like you're unstoppable, right? Make sure you wear your helmets. You know what I mean? Like I know so many people who have been mashed up from the mopeds, like they've hurt themselves or like the insurance won't cover them. Like there's so much stuff that can go on. You know what I mean? When you're on mopeds and stuff, and just in general, just have your wits about you. You know, like there's been some horror stories that I've heard from people that they've gone out onto certain places, like especially at the full moon party, right? You're just packed on a small little beach and you know what I mean, anything can happen, you can get spanked. Just have your wits about you and like you don't trust everyone and anyone that you're with, especially if you're with new people. Like if you're just with new people that you've just met and stuff, like have your wits about you. Don't get too mashed up, right? When I look back in my trip in Thailand, I literally was out there doing like just with everyone and anyone, just this, da, 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 like you know what I mean. I was just doing a madness, and you don't have no sense of fear really, like you know what I mean. And it's kind of bad, but you're just kind of just doing everything. You know what I mean, anything. You're just having fun. Like that place really makes you feel like you can just do anything. You know, like you're unstoppable, like you're Batman, but you're not until it's you that's hurt or that's something that's happened to. It's a mix-up, it's a drama, you know what I mean? Try to have your wits about you and stuff and just be safe and just enjoy it, yeah? Enjoy it, that's one thing I can say. Enjoy it because it will go over like that and you look back in the memories and just wish you were there. But yeah, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it and I hope it was enough information. Like, obviously, I've only said a few stuff, but you know me, I can just talk. So it's not just like I can give you whole bullet point lists and stuff of things that you don't need to know about, but I can just talk. I can talk a lot. I might do another video about the stuff that you need for Thailand, apps and stuff, because there's so many different things that you need. But yeah, guys, I also just want to end the video saying thank you for all the continued support. Thank you for the likes, the subscribes. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.